Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 5 August 2019. Coming to you tonight with a video that's probably a couple years overdue. Let's see, 7 years ago, I started sharpening knives for hire. 7 years ago. And I think almost 7 years ago, in the early part of 2013, I did a video explaining the TheApostleP Knife Service and everything it does and where it's headed. And I haven't really done an update video since then. I've continued to update my pricing and contact information and all that good stuff, but really haven't done a video that comprehensively speaks about the state of the services of the TheApostleP Knife Service. So that's kind of what I wanted to do tonight. For those of you who are not familiar with my business, not only do I make YouTube videos about knives and other things that are important to me, I'm also a professional knife sharpener. In fact, the TheApostleP Knife Service, I think you could say, is the original online knife community sharpening service. Started in the late part of 2012, early part of 2013. Been doing it for about 7 years. 4 years as a full-time knife sharpener. I retired from the car business in September 1 of 2015. And I've been doing knife sharpening exclusively as my trade ever since then. And then I've been sharpening knives total about 40 plus years. First learned to sharpen when I was about 11 years old. I've been doing it ever since, but professionally for 7 years part-time, 4 years full-time. And it was kind of an interesting prospect when I started doing this. My original intent was to get more knives in front of the TheApostleP camera for review by taking them in for sharpening work, and perhaps at the same time generate a little revenue so I could buy more knives to use and to review. Now, that's all well and good as far as a plan for me. But it wouldn't have worked if I weren't right about one thing, and that is that most of the knives in your pockets, whether they've been sharpened by a custom maker, by a manufacturing company, or Joe Sharpener at the gun and knife show with the 1x30 grinder and a power strop, most of the knives in your pockets aren't very sharp and they don't look very good. And I thought, you know, if I can take my already solid freehand sharpening skills and adapt those to a precision angle guided system with an awesome grip progression that produces a superb finish, there might just be a market for this. Guess what? I was right. And I'm really happy that I was right. I'm also really happy that not only was there a demand for a really fine precision edge on a collectible or enthusiast pocket knife, I'm also really glad that you guys trusted me enough to send me in the mail your knives and your cash, and trusted that you'd get them back at all, and that you'd get them back in such a condition as to make you feel like you spent your money wisely and you placed your trust in me wisely. I don't for 1 minute fail to appreciate that. So thank you guys. And everything just kind of snowballed, and here I am, 7 years later, a full-time sharpener with over 10,000 customer knives sharpened in the last 7 years. There are not too many knife models, grind geometries, and blade styles I haven't seen and learned how to master. Now, I have new customers coming on board all the time, but I also still have a few of my originals who regularly use my sharpening service. And those of you who watch my weekly knife sales know who a couple of them are, because they also consign knives with me. Chris from Texas, thank you for your support, my friend. Scott P. from Florida, the addicted one. You know I appreciate you, brother. So what is it that I do? Well, the TheApostleP Knife Service specializes in near mirror polished edges, extreme precision and sharpness, an optimal geometry without compromising aesthetics. And all those things are pretty important, I think. Most of the knives that I sharpened are, you know, to the casual observer, kind of expensive knives. You know, I'll do everything from a $30 cold steel to a Norseman. I did a Norseman last week. That's a really expensive knife by Grimsmo, by the way, for those of you who don't know, worth over $1,000. I take the utmost care, not only in my sharpening process, but also in protecting the blade and handle finishes on every knife I sharpen. The bottom line is I treat your knife like it were my knife. And I think that's important because, you know, I'm not sharpening utility knives or kitchen knives for restaurants. I'm sharpening knives that are beloved possessions of passionate collectors and knife enthusiasts. So it's really important that when you open that box, when you get it back from me, that you look at that edge and you think, wow, and you know, cut a piece of newspaper with it and you're like, that thing's a laser. That's kind of what I pride myself on. So other than sharpening, other services that I provide are retipping and refinishing of knives. Some blade mods. And some of my mods are really popular, like guys I've done them for. Some of them were their ideas, and they've done videos on YouTube. And I get lots of requests for those. The two that come to mind most readily are the little native mod, where I do the sharpening choil and reduce the height of the ricasso so it doesn't hit your finger when you close it. The forward choil on the ZT0562 that I sort of thin the profile of the flipper to bring the finger choil back toward the handle and maximize cutting edge. That's a mod that's become really, really popular. So finger choils, spine modifications in some cases. You want to change a reverse Tanto into a drop point, or you want to change lots of things we can do there depending on the existing knife geometry and what you want. And then sort of as a matter of course, things that I do for no extra charge or enhancement and creation of sharpening choils, and other things that are required to do to a blade before you sharpen it so the edge comes out right. Speaking of retipping, if your knife has a little tiny sliver broken off the tip, no extra charge for fixing that. If it's got a 1/4 inch broken off the end, then we're going to have an extra charge involved, and I'll quote each one of those individually. So those are the blade mods that I do. Also, some maintenance stuff, and it's kind of like a trigger job in a gun. On most modern folders, I perform what I call my spa treatment. And what that is a post-sharpening, precision cleaning, lubrication, and tune job, including disassembly where applicable, lapping of washers when needed, so that your knife, when you get it back, will perform at its best, both in cutting and mechanical performance. Now, speaking of the spot treatment, specifically on Chris Reeve Sebenzas and any models that have the bushing style pivot, I include that as part of the sharpening price, and I charge a little more for that than I do on other knives because the washer lapping has to be a little bit more precise. So I price those at $30 total, sharpening and spa, whereas the spa treatment on other modern folders is only $5. Okay, tools of the trade. What do I use when I'm working on your knives? On most knives that have V ground bevels, I use the Edge Pro Professional Precision Angle Sharpening System. And with that system, I have a complete array of alumina-based stones for plain carbon steels and lower carbon stainlesses, and then a full array of diamond matrix stones for modern super steels. Then on convex ground blades, I use the Edge Right Convex Sharpening System. And after the abrasive sharpening, I've got a full complement of strops and compounds, both alumina-based, CBN, and diamond, for the ultimate finished appearance and sharpness before I send your knife home. I also do scissors, and for those I use the Edge Pro scissor attachment that fits on my Edge Pro Professional sharpening system. I also have a well-equipped shop with necessary grinding and finishing equipment to assist in the sharpening repair processes. Okay, for pricing, I won't go over the entire pricing menu on the video, but I will reprint it under this video in the description. It's also a note on my Facebook page, and I'll put a link to my Facebook page, the Apostle P Facebook page, in the description of this video. By the way, regarding pricing, I haven't made a price increase since I started. In fact, I've actually made a special reduced pricing category for traditional slip joint pocket knives. Those are a little different than modern folders because some of them are multi-bladed and they're generally small, thin blades. So whereas a modern folder blade under 5 inches is 20 bucks, traditional slip joint pocket knife is 15 for the main blade in that knife, and then for each of the secondary blades in that same knife, they're 10 bucks each. So a 3-blade Stockman is 15 plus 10 plus 10, 35 bucks. No spa treatment per se on the traditional slip joints, but I do sort of a cursory cleaning and lubrication of those when I finish them. Turnaround time ranges from 3 weeks to 30 days depending on how busy I am and what else is going on in life at any given time. Right now, we're right down at that 3-week mark, which those of you who have listened to me over the last couple months know that I've really been working hard to get my backlog down because I've wanted to do this video, but I didn't want to put the video out there during a time when I had a 5-week backlog and then it jumps to 6 or 7 because that's horrible. Nobody wants to deal with that. So right now it's just about 3 weeks. That's as of the first part of August 2019. If you're watching this later, who knows? But just ask if you're making contact with me. Now I've designed my pricing and contact info menu so that those of you who are existing customers or even who aren't, that have a straightforward sharpening job, you don't even need to contact me. You can just send it in. So I'll go over a little bit of that right now and sort of run through it quickly for you so it doesn't make the video laborious to watch. Okay, so as of August 5th, 2019, these are the prices. So for sharpening, modern folders under 5 inches, 20 bucks as we've discussed. Spot treatment, 5. Fixed blades under 5 inches, 20 bucks. Fixed blades 5 to 9 inches, 30 bucks. Fixed blades over 9 inches, 40 bucks. For super steels, and they'll be enumerated in the menu, which ones I classify as super steels, add $5 to the above pricing. Tanto and Recurve blades add 5 bucks, and that's just because on Tantos I've increased setup time. Essentially, instead of having 2 sides of 1 edge to sharpen, I have 2 sides of 2 edges to sharpen. And Recurves are 5 bucks more because they really wear on my stones because I'm sort of riding the corners of my sharpening stones, so I have to take a lot of material off them when I'm done with a recurve blade. We covered Chris Reeve knives, anything that's got the bushing pivot, which are all Sebenzas. If there's another one, I don't know what it is. So those are $30, including the Chris Reeve special spot treatment. Traditional pocket knives we covered, 15 bucks for the main blade. If it's under 3 inches, if the main blade's over 3 inches, it's 20, and then $10 for secondary blades within the same knife. Postage. Ship as many knives as you want in one Postal Service small flat rate box, and your return postage is $8. If it is a medium flat rate box, $14. And of course, as many knives as you can get in one box, save yourself the postage, right? You're only paying 1 postage charge. Method of payment, and this is to be done by cash, check, or money order in the box with the knives. I don't necessarily love to do PayPal, but if you got to do PayPal, contact me and we'll discuss how to do that. The shipping addresses, and there are 2 of them that you're going to see in the description. The first is for packages that you're mailing to me by United States Postal Service. And then that's a P.O. box. So if you're shipping by another carrier, such as UPS or FedEx, you're going to need to use the street address listed in the description. And I think that's about it for that. Any questions that you don't have answers to in the pricing and services menu, just shoot me an email or a text, and my email and text information are in the description. Those of you who are new to my service, I welcome your new business, and I will do my best to make sure that you are extremely pleased with the knives that you get back from me. Old customers who have been with me forever, guys, thank you for your support. You have made this lifestyle possible. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Any questions I didn't cover in the video, shoot me an email or a text. I will be happy to answer. By the way, method of contact. Private messages on YouTube, they don't alert me, so I don't look at them. Facebook Messenger, I keep up with that okay, but I really prefer email because it leaves an easy thread to follow. It has a subject line. And text is okay, but a long conversation by text gets really hard to retrace. It's not organized as well as email. So if you got a quickie, shoot me a text. If it's going to be a long, involved communication, email is best, even better than a phone call, because there's a written record of what we said. Some things require a conversation on the phone. You're welcome to call. I generally don't listen to voicemails much. Kind of like my old buddy Derek Bone, the dear departed Derek Bone, may he rest in peace. He had his voicemail greeting said, "I don't listen to voicemail messages, send me a text." That's kind of smart to do with me too. Over the years, one of the things that I've been the worst at is communication. I have really, really struggled to get better at that, and I think if you've contacted me over the last few months and you've known me for years, online, you know that I've gotten better at that. So I do try to keep up on that. Used to be, I didn't. Mea culpa, I'm sorry. I'm doing better. I really do try to get back to you guys in a timely fashion, and I hope you're seeing that, because I think I'm doing better. I think that's about it for this one. And I look forward to serving you all in the future. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp, and so will be your knives when you get them back from the Apostle P Knife Service. Have a good night, guys.